Gina Lollobrigida's exotic beauty and charm turned her into one of the most popular European actresses of the 1950s. An advocate for Italian cinema, Lollobrigida's career transcends the confines of the silver screen, becoming a respected photojournalist in her later years. Born in 1927, Lollobrigida had seen firsthand the changes that her beloved Italy has gone through, and in all that time, she's endured as an icon of a bygone era of cinema. Today, we will be looking at the top 10 Gina Lollobrigida movies of all time.
He asked me to marry him. He begged me. And that freed me of him forever.
Number 10. Death Laid an Egg.
Un giorno ti farò provare le mie parrucche. Ma no, ti preferisco così. Stai meglio biondo.
In 1960s Italy, cinema was going through a revolution that would endure well into the 70s. The giallo movies were there to stay. These films would include elements of thriller and mystery, usually with a detective involved. Such is the case of 1968's Death Laid an Egg, a curiously titled movie starring Eva Olin, Jean-Louis Trintignant, and, of course, Gina Lollobrigida. Lollobrigida stars as Anna, a farm owner who breeds boneless chicken along with her husband, Marco. Anna ignores Marco's deadly secret. He's a serial killer who lures working girls to motels to stab them. A love triangle soon develops between Anna, Marco, and Anna's cousin, Gabrielle. The consequences of this affair turn out to be deadly. Considered a must-see for fans of the giallo genre, critics were perplexed by the film's bizarre plot and overall atmosphere, with some modern critics comparing it to David Lynch's Eraserhead. Reportedly, Lollobrigida was a fan of how the film turned out to be. It makes sense, though, as her character is a central element of the plot.
Sono venuti anche qua, li ho cacciati via. Non vogliono capire che non ci serve più nessuno. Avanzano pretese assurde.
Number 9. Solomon and Sheba.
My ancestor sat upon the throne of a great country when yours still crawled on the hands and knees, feeding on roots and insects.
An adaptation of the biblical stories of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, Solomon and Sheba is the last film directed by King Vidor, an aptly named American film director. Following the rule of King David, his son and successor, King Solomon, must face the challenges of ruling Israel. Solomon's brother, Adoniah, conspires against him out of jealousy. Additionally, the Egyptian pharaoh and the pagan Queen of Sheba also threaten the peace built by King David. Yul Brynner stars as Solomon, with Gina Lollobrigida playing the role of Sheba. Brynner had to replace actor Tyrone Power in the middle of production when the actor collapsed and died during a physically demanding scene. Although it was negatively received by critics, Solomon and Sheba became a smashing box office success. Some critics praised Lollobrigida's acting, as they felt she gave the right balance between beauty and wits to her character.
For I was a friend of the Pharaoh and an enemy of Israel, and I came here out of hatred to destroy you.
Number 8. Beat the Devil.
Please, write a letter. Then there will be no trouble for you, no trouble for us, no risk when we get to Africa.
Lollobrigida's first widely popular English-language film, Beat the Devil might have been the role that propelled her career in the eyes of the American public. In this adventure comedy, Lollobrigida stars alongside Humphrey Bogart and Jennifer Jones. Directed by John Huston, this movie is a loose parody of one of Huston's earlier works, The Maltese Falcon. Billy and Maria Dannreuther are a couple of formerly wealthy Americans on their way to Africa. On their trip, they meet a lovely British couple. So lovely, however, that they have affairs with them. Along with them travels a group of crooks who hope to get rich quickly, and trouble ensues when this ragtag group of rogues meets with the Dannreuthers.
Just now, if you could bring me an aspirin. I have a headache.
Don't move. Just you wait there. I'll be back in a moment.
Lollobrigida was already a star in European cinema, being something of a novelty for American filmmakers. Someone she successfully impressed with her charms was Humphrey Bogart, who was left speechless by her beauty. Bogart would famously describe Lollobrigida as making Marilyn Monroe look like Shirley Temple.
Someday I'll say goodbye and you won't hear that either. There you shall really meet my type and run off with him.
Number 7. The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
J'ai crevé les yeux d'un oiseau. Son chant était trop beau. Je poussais dans la scène un enfant criait.
Based on the classic Victor Hugo novel, 1956's The Hunchback of Notre Dame stars Lollobrigida as Esmeralda, alongside the American actor Anthony Quinn as Quasimodo. This film belongs to the sword and sandal genre of Italian films, also known as peplum. These epics would typically feature just a couple of English-speaking actors, with the rest of the cast being either Italian or French. In the Hunchback's case, only Lollobrigida and Quinn were fluent in English. The story follows the basic premise of Victor Hugo's novel, Quasimodo, who lives alone in Notre Dame, falls under the bewitching spells of the beautiful gypsy Esmeralda. If you're more familiar with the popular 1996 Disney animated retelling of this story, be prepared for some major trauma. This film follows Victor Hugo's original plot more closely, including its beautifully dark ending. Without getting into spoiler territory, let's just say that not everyone lives happily ever after in this version of the tale.
Je vous ai vu en plein mensonge dans leur tribunal, et c'était vous qui aviez les plus mauvais visages.
Number 6. Buona Sera, Mrs. Campbell.
Florence, to collect a check for my poor husband's family. You know that.
I know nothing.
Set 20 years after the end of World War II, Buona Sera, Mrs. Campbell is a musical comedy that features Lollobrigida as Carla, an Italian mother. 20 years earlier, Carla slept with 3 American soldiers and was left pregnant by one of them. Uncertain of who is the real father, Carla has told each man separately that they are to receive financial support from all 3 of the soldiers. Now, Carla raises her daughter, Gia, alone. However, a unit-wide reunion of the Air Force in Carla's town means that Gia finally has a chance to meet her real dad. Carla must do everything in her power to stop Gia from finding the truth about her made-up dad, and for each of the 3 soldiers from finding out about the others. The plot of Buona Sera, Mrs. Campbell, happens to be surprisingly similar to 2008's widely popular musical Mamma Mia. However, Katherine Johnson, the original writer of Mamma Mia, denies any connection between her book and this film.
Going to drag your father's name in and out of married men's beds. Don't you dare say that to me! And don't you dare raise your voice to me!
Number 5. Woman of Straw.
You can be such a nice man, Mr. Richmond. Why do you choose to act like a pig?
Lollobrigida's name gets top billing in this 1964 crime thriller directed by Basil Dearden. Her co-star is none other than Sean Connery, an actor who enjoyed worldwide popularity for starring in the first 2 James Bond films. Woman of Straw sees Connery's character scheming to get his despicable uncle's fortune. To do so, he employs the aid of a nurse working under him, played by Lollobrigida. However, his plan is not as well thought out as he thinks, with everything going south very quickly for Lollobrigida's character, the titular Woman of Straw. Since her character is an integral part of this film, it makes sense for Lollobrigida's name to receive top billing, although there are reports that Sean Connery didn't enjoy this.
Mr. Richmond, I don't think you need my services any longer. Your hand is quite healed.
Number 4. Trapeze.
I would rather have been a tiny part of a great act than the star of an ordinary one. Oh, please, Tino, we don't talk about it anymore.
Trapeze marks Lollobrigida's debut in American films, and what a debut it was! The story takes place inside a circus where tensions are running high. Former trapeze star Mike Ribble trains his protege, Tino Orsini, to be the circus's new main event. However, the manipulative and enchanting Lola, played by Lollobrigida, distracts Orsini from his training with her womanly charms. Because the movie features a myriad of dangerous stunts, many stunt doubles were hired for trapeze. That said, some of those actors suffered terrible fates during production. Lollobrigida's first double fell to her death from a 40-foot tall platform. Her second double then broke her nose during a stunt, leaving only an experienced stuntman to perform Lollobrigida's tricks. Despite its troubled production, Trapeze went on to become a modest success with critics and audiences. Most critics praised the chemistry between 2 of the main stars, Lollobrigida and Burt Lancaster.
We need a 3rd bar and another set of wires 8 feet from the center bar. I want the apron extended another 4 feet.
Number 3. Bread, Love, and Dreams.
Ci sta Luca Peladre, chi è? L'usacce non lo dico, se no m'arresta me. Barò!
A veteran Italian police chief gets transferred to a quiet mountain village. There's not much action to speak of in the idyllic town, yet Antonio Carotenuto still manages to find himself a hostage of the bewitching beauty of Maria de Ritis, played by Lollobrigida. However, the young woman's heart is taken, leaving Antonio to find solace in the arms of Anna Murziato. Bread, Love, and Dreams is considered to be one of the most famous examples of pink neorealism. After World War II, Italian living standards were steadily improving, and with them, movies became lighter and more natural in tone. The trend of pink neorealist movies let actresses perform as naturally as possible, just as Lollobrigida did in this film. Lollobrigida's natural acting in the film was well received by fans and critics, who praised the authenticity of her performance. The European popularity of Bread, Love, and Dreams cannot be overstated, with the movie spawning several successful sequels. Number 2. Come September.
What can happen to them? There are 4 boys and 6 girls. That adds up to 10. And they are safety numbers.
Rock Hudson is Robert Talbot, a wealthy American businessman who owns a luxurious Italian villa. Robert usually reunites there with his Italian mistress, Lisa, played by Lollobrigida, each September. One year, however, Robert decides to visit Italy in July, inadvertently forcing Lisa to call off her marriage. Surprises don't end there for Robert, as his major domo has turned his private villa into a hotel. Now, Robert has to take care of the group of young people hosted at his villa. As he chaperones them, he notices that the younger generations live an even wilder lifestyle than his. With his relationship with Lisa on the line, the couple will have to overcome a series of comedic situations if they hope to live happily together. By the time of Come September's debut, Lollobrigida was already considered a beauty icon. Her exotic European charms turned her into the obvious choice for a movie set in Italy, although she wasn't the studio's first pick. Originally, some reports mentioned that Marilyn Monroe was set to play the role of Lisa. It would have been a radically different movie, seeing as Monroe was born in Los Angeles, as far from Italy as you can get.
You're wealthy, good-looking, intelligent, charming. I should have known better than to get mixed up with someone like that.
Our number 1 pick is Fanfan la Tulipe.
Bien que j'ai été élevée dans un camp, personne jamais ne m'a manqué de respect. Sachez-le. Ce n'est pas vous qui commencerez.
This swashbuckling comedy adventure stars Gerard Philippe as the titular character, alongside Gina Lollobrigida as the beautiful Adeline Lefranchise. Fanfan la Tulipe chronicles the adventures of the eponymous Fanfan, a young army recruit who becomes infatuated with Adeline, the daughter of a recruiting officer. Beguiled with promises of fame, love, and fortune, Fanfan joins the army on Adeline's suggestion. The young Fanfan soon proves to have outstanding capabilities for the army, surprising his commanding officers. However, falling in love with Adeline might also mean giving up his chance to live a life of luxuries and riches. Released just a year before her big English-speaking debut, Fanfan la Tulipe was Lollobrigida's chance to make it big in French cinema. The movie has become one of the prime examples of European swashbuckling films, attaining a score of 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.com.
Il en suivrait une grosse fortune dont nous jouirions mariés ensemble.
Que je me couvrirai de gloire.
Il exaucerait mes désirs les plus secrets.
Et que je serais aimé de la fille du roi.
Do you agree with our list? Be sure to comment below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and be the first to receive new Top 10 videos from Stream TV.